biggest day on the sports calendar is upon us, and even if you don't have a dog in the fight, you can get some skin in the game, or maybe you already have. With sports gambling being regulated in more states each year, it is a virtual lock that we see a record amount wagered on Super Bowl 56, with last year's total estimated at over $4 billion. But where should your cash go? Well, the spread and the game total are the most common bets, but there's serious value out there if you're willing to take a chance on a higher reward. How about 10-to-1 odds that Joe Mixon will hit triple digits in rushing yards, parlayed with the over in receiving yards for Cooper Kupp? And there's pretty good value on Kupp or Jamar Chase as the last touchdown scorer. And with so many games coming down to the wire this postseason, how about overtime at over 7-to-1? Want even more value? Take a flyer on the first score being a safety. That pays 45-to-1. And yes, you can always bet on the over-under on the national anthem, the coin toss, and the color of the Gatorade bath. Whatever edge you're looking for on Super Bowl Sunday, you've certainly come to the right place.
I feel like I need dollar bills to throw up in the air right now. Let's welcome in our betting expert, Todd Fuhrman here. Todd, as Chris mentioned in that last year, I think the public bet $4.5-ish billion, and that was down 30% because of the pandemic. So we're going to look at how you approach the Super Bowl when it comes to a betting perspective. How do you attack the vast amount of player props out there?
You know, honestly, Amanda, you have to have a game plan going into Super Bowl week, and it's a good thing they give bettors, about 10 days to completely dissect that laundry list of prop bets that are widely available, especially given the extensive selection that our partners at Caesars will have available as well. Because if you don't have a game plan, it can become overwhelming. You look at player props, you look at over-unders by quarters, you're worried about the coin flip. Hassel talked about the national anthem. There are so many different ways to try and attack this game. So I often tell people if there's one side of the ball that they want to focus on, that can give them a little bit of a leg up. Whether you want to look at math props, you want to look at the running game for the Bengals against the Rams defensive front, or you want to try and highlight some of the pass catchers. It's easier to kind of segment things out and go in breaking down one facet of the game at a time. Because if you look at it basically as a full college curriculum of sorts, there's no way you're going to be able to get through all of it in just the span of 9 days.
Yeah, so like me, just start randomly scrolling. You're like, that looks fun. I think I'll bet that. What about the right line or odds? Where do you go there? How do you approach that?
There's so many different ways to kind of look at, the different prices and terms of trying to figure out what's available. A lot of the times for me, regardless of who the opponents are in the game, you're looking at some of the math numbers, because when you see a team that's favored, typically their yardage numbers should be significantly higher. They're going to be favored for first downs, and you're trying to find some of those historical trends that odds makers may not properly price. And one of those props that jumps off the page to me every year, Amanda, is the fact that the second half traditionally is significantly higher scoring than the first half. And you see that reflected on the full game side in total. When you're looking at an over-under for a game that opened 49, we saw our friends at Caesars open the first half total at 24, immediately get bet down to 23.5. You don't have to have a math degree from MIT to go, well, if the first half total is 23.5 and the full game total is 48.5, it's more or less odds makers tipping their hand saying that we think there's going to be a little bit more of a wide open game plan employed in the second half. Now, as far as the full game side in total, where those markets open, we saw 3.5 and 49, more or less the prevailing prices. You have seen an appetite from professional bettors coming in on the Rams. They laid the 3.5 early on. They laid the money line at minus $1.70, minus $1.75. But one thing that may be a little technical, if we need to clarify, we'll have plenty of time to do it through our expansive Super Bowl coverage. When you look at this Super Bowl, more than any other game throughout the course of the season, a recreational bettor wants to bet the underdog on the money line, and they want to lay the points with the favorite. So what that means is typically you're getting the best value actually by backing the Bengals plus the points instead and looking to back the Rams on the money line, because things get so skewed that books are going to find themselves at this point in the game rooting for the Rams to win by 1, 2, or 3, and they'll be able to collect the lion's share of the money being bet on both sides of the equation.
Underdog, money line, points with the favorite. Did I get that right? I wrote it down.
No, the other way around. Take the points with the underdog to try and extract true value, and look to bet the favorite on the money line more so than the other way. So hopefully you wrote that down in pencil. And again, we have all week long to try and make sure we drum this into everybody's head that they're attacking this with their bankrolls in mind.
This is why our producer gave me this segment, because I just flip things around. I'm out of curiosity, is it better to get in earlier now, or should people wait a little bit closer to the game?
I think when you're looking at the side in total, there's no real reason to run to the window right now. Generally speaking, about 85% of the handle that'll be bet on this game will come in on Saturday and Sunday leading up to kickoff. So professional bettors will get in early. They'll stake their claim, and that's part of the reason that we see 4.5 more or less painted at most sports books, including Caesars right now. But for the props, it's always an interesting mindset, because if you like certain player props over, your best bet is to get in early. If you like a lot of the marquee players under, wait that thing out till about 90 minutes to 2 hours before kickoff, and that's where you're going to be able to take the most value. And the perfect illustration of that will be a player like Cooper Kupp. No recreational bettor is walking to the window going, you know what's going to be a fun bet on Super Bowl Sunday? To bet Cooper Kupp under his receiving yardage, so you sit glued to the edge of your seat hoping that he never has a ball thrown in his direction. So what you do is you bet Cooper Kupp's numbers over early, and then as that number continues to climb, given the gaudy numbers we've seen him put up all season long, you may be able to get a token of value coming back the other way. I mean, there's a reason this guy has won the receiving triple crown. He's gone over 100 yards in 14 out of 20 performances and continues to put up video game-like performances, knowing that he's the focal point of every opposing defense.
Okay, what about live betting, and how sober should you stay during the game for the live betting?
You know, my general rule of thumb is as the alcohol consumption goes up, the strength of your position and the size of your bets should diminish. Because if you're doing things in conjunction with one another, that's the reason they keep building casinos out here in Las Vegas. And typically why people that are playing the roulette wheel at 2 a.m. don't go, you know what, that was the best decision I could have made on my Friday night visit to Las Vegas. So as far as live betting is concerned, it's a lot like the props. Come in with a game plan and identify what you're looking for, whether it's individual players and the next player to score a touchdown, or if you're talking about some of the top line markets as far as side and total. If you happen to like the Bengals before the game and you believe that they have another improbable comeback in their arsenal, maybe you wait, hoping that the Rams get an opening drive touchdown and you'll get a price tag inflated well beyond that 4.5. I think it's so fascinating because when you've looked at Super Bowl history, typically these games start extremely slow. So if you like the over before the game, it doesn't always benefit you to run to the window and bet the game over 48.5, because all it could take is a scoreless first 5 or 6 minutes, and you could be looking at a number in that 45.5 range. I mean, we have 2 quarterbacks making their Super Bowl debut. You have one head coach doing the same thing. You have a high level of familiarity between Sean McVay and Zach Taylor. I'd be surprised if these two teams come out and put up fireworks early on in this game, knowing both coaches are more than okay running the football early on. And we've seen so far this postseason, they're perfectly comfortable punting on 4th and short and plus territory.
So let's get your pick now. A good, week and a couple days out. The Rams are favored by 4.5 in this game. The total right now is set at 48 and a hook. Where are you going?
So for me, the 2 bets that I like the most in this game, I'll make a case for the Rams and backing them on the money line. This would be a bet, though, that I would wait out as long as possible for just what we talked about a little bit earlier. I think the money line price tag could come down a little bit as folks at Caesars decide they want to bet the Joe Burrow Cinderella story. So I'd love to be able to lay $1.90 if it happened to pop again in the market. And as far as the total is concerned, I'll be looking to go first half under. But the key buy point for me there is to go under 24. I actually bet it at 24 earlier in the week, and we'll see if the market allows it to get back there. But 24 is such an important number. At the same time, though, 23.5 also a key. 23 would be my absolute low point for going under in the first half between these two teams.
So when it comes to MVP, are you looking at Matt Stafford or someone else?
It's been a quarterback-driven award for so long, and it's so tough to try and find an opportunity to have somebody else get in there and steal the hardware. I mean, the perfect illustration was a couple of years ago. I mean, Damian Williams goes absolutely berserk and still finds a way to get the MVP trophy ripped right away from him. And with Matthew Stafford, you can almost make the case that it'll be a lifetime achievement award of sorts for a quarterback who's been much maligned during his time in Detroit. Joe Burrow going to be the face of the NFL and the young quarterback crop. But since I'm making a case for the Rams to win the game, I'm going to take a Rams player, but it won't be Stafford. I think Cooper Kupp can be that guy. If he were to go out there and have more than 100 yards receiving, pick up 7 or 8 catches in a win, and at least find pay dirt one time, This could be a consolation prize for him, knowing he's not going to win the MVP, or if he did for the regular season, I'd be shocked. Most likely is going to take home the hardware for Offensive Player of the Year. But Cooper Kupp is the guy that's becoming a household name at a skill position that could find a way, even if Matthew Stafford has a great game, to steal a little bit of the luster. So I'll take a shot with Cooper Kupp at 7-1.
All right, Todd, your way too early Super Bowl pick for next season. We know the Chiefs are the favorite here. And when I look down at your pick, my eyebrows shot up.
Well, I mean, you see the board there, and I think the one thing that we're obviously going to keep tabs on this entire offseason is where some of the veteran quarterbacks land. Jimmy Garoppolo, where does he go? And can he make a team, more complete if they had a gaping hole under center? Aaron Rodgers, would he end up in the AFC and make that talent pool even deeper? There's no doubt that the NFC has seen a major departing of talent as far as veteran quarterbacks are concerned. So normally folks are going to clamor for maybe the Dallas Cowboys to get over the hump. But as long as Mike McCarthy's the head coach, Amanda, I'm not making a case for them. So I'm going to go back to his team that was talked about by many to be able to take the next step this season, and that would be the Cleveland Browns. I feel like they've really fallen on hard times, so much so that you're seeing them at 40-1. I mean, this was a team that was bet down to that 15 to 18-1 range. They were favorites in the division. They dealt with injuries on both sides of the ball. And while nobody is exactly brimming with confidence in Baker Mayfield's ability to get this team where they need to go, I think him being healthy, playing for his next contract, wherever that may be, assuming the Browns do go into the year with Baker under center, and getting some of their key cogs back on the field, I really believe the Browns are a team that's going to fly under the radar and be a little bit undersold, knowing that the schedule that worked against them this year is something that could work in their favor this year. So I would take a shot at the Cleveland Browns more than 360 days before they'll hand out next year's Lombardi Trophy.
Todd, we appreciate it. I'm not sure if I feel more confident or if I am now more stressed after talking to you, trying to get these bets in. But either way, we appreciate it. We'll be talking to you up until the Super Bowl, recapping his picks there. As of right now, he likes Rams money line. He said if you can hold off on that, though, try to hold off a little bit there. His Super Bowl MVP going with Cooper Kupp. And next season's way too early Super Bowl pick, the Browns with 40-1 odds. Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.